Good morning. I'm Julio Saenz, along with Mauricio Riveros. Today we'll meet Ilana Eck, the founder and CEO of StylishSpoon.com, an online subscription-based bakery dedicated to making healthy food.
We hope you will be inspired.
Celebrating leaders in Rochester's unique and vibrant business community. We'll meet entrepreneurs whose passion and perseverance have helped push through life's challenges. Join us as we share their stories and journeys to success. It's time to be inspired.
Ilana, thank you very much to be in Be Inspired, a show that we developed to interview entrepreneurs, interesting people in Rochester who are starting businesses, who are developing businesses. And today is really an honor to have you in the program. So let's start learning who is Ilana.
Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm really honored. So I'm Ilana Eck. I am the CEO and founder of Stylish Spoon. We are a gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free bakery. But I like to say what makes us really special and different from a lot of other gluten-free bakeries is that all of our baked goods are nutrient dense. So they're all made with really wholesome ingredients. We don't use any xanthan gum, sorghum flour, preservatives. It's a super simple list of, about 8 ingredients, and they're all great for you.
Well, that's wonderful. So Ilana, tell us how this business idea started.
So it's funny, I was actually a full-time practice attorney, and I was on maternity leave with my second daughter. And normally I can't eat gluten. And when I was a nursing mom, I couldn't eat dairy or soy. And I joked with everyone I was on like the brown rice and banana diet because there were so few foods that I could eat. I felt really deprived and I needed foods to get good calories in and boost my milk supply and something I could eat with one hand while holding a baby. So I thought back to some of the recipes that my mom used to make. She was a really great baker and she used to make these really wholesome oatmeal cookies. And so I reverse engineered a baked oatmeal that had all the things I wanted to get in my diet. I wanted to get in oats that had soluble fiber and were great for production. I wanted to get coconut oil in, which was great for my baby's developing brain, chia seeds, which are plant-based omega-3s, cinnamon to control my blood sugar. So I reverse engineered this recipe. I packed it all in. I made big batches and I put them in my freezer. And every weekday morning, I would take 2 out, pop them in the microwave, and breakfast was done. And I was so thrilled that they brought the joy back into eating for me because they have chocolate chips in them. And I will tell you, chocolate brings me a lot of joy. And so that's how I came up with them. And, I did that for a while and I started bringing them to other moms at some of the breastfeeding groups I was at, some of my other friends, people who had new homes, and they all said, we would love to buy these. And I took that as a nice compliment and I went back to work and I was sitting in the back of a dirty storage room pumping. And I thought, maybe I should listen to what my friends said. They all said they'd be my first customers. So I decided to snap a picture that night at home. I posted it on a Facebook moms group. And within 2 weeks, I had orders for over 250 of my oatmeal cups.
Wonderful story, Ilana. I'm amazed at the niche. It's one of the most amazing things that we encounter on the show is the niches that people find. And you're providing a product that many, many people want. And congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about, as far as the whole jump from I'm making these cookies to being an entrepreneur. Did you have any role models growing up as far as entrepreneurship, or did you just kind of grew into it?
I don't know that I ever intended to be an entrepreneur. That was really never my goal. I always thought I would go to law school and be a lawyer. And then I was a lawyer. And although I love speaking and working with people, and I enjoyed some of the aspects of it, I really felt like I had to pretend like I was someone who I wasn't practicing law. And one of the things I love about being an entrepreneur is that I really feel like myself. And I get to talk how I want to. I get to engage with the world how I want to. And so I feel like living a life that's more authentic for who I am is one of the best things. And I'm not sure that I saw a lot of role models like that when I was growing up. I sort of thought, my parents told me I should be a lawyer. They told me I was good at arguing. As a kid, I guess. I got the candy I wanted. And so, it was something I was always on the path to do. And obviously my dad was a really hard worker. He was always one of my role models. My mom was an amazing baker. She was obviously one of my main role models. And something that's really important for me in my business is making sure that all of my baked goods and everything that we make and produce, like one of the pillars of our business, is that things are wholesome and good for you and support your health, because my mom died of breast cancer when she was only 46. And so, anything that I can do for me and for everyone else to give them tools that can help them eat healthier is something that I just am so passionate about doing.
Wow, it's really inspiring, your story. Be able to identify your passion and the thing that you love to do is not anymore a job, it's your call. And that is wonderful. So one of the questions I always have is how your operation works. You are online, and so explain a little bit about that service that you provide.
So, right, we have a commercial kitchen. It's a production facility. It's not someplace where you could walk up and buy product. And we do lots of subscriptions online. So people go online on our website, they place an order, we ship nationwide, and then they just keep getting them for a subscription and place a one-time order so that you can try our products too. And I have a team of all women, mostly moms, and we all work together, and we make everything handmade from scratch. We package everything ourselves. We prepare them for shipment really lovingly. I try to say to everyone that's on my team is, when someone buys one of our products, I want them to feel like they're doing something special for themselves. Every time they open one of our packages, I want them to have that feeling. And so we ship all of our orders, and we make them fresh, made to order every Monday. And then throughout the week, we do different, sometimes farmers markets, pop-up events and things like that. And if you follow us on Instagram at Stylish Spoon, I usually post where we're going to be for those, but mostly it's online. That's the bulk of our business. And that's something I've been really grateful for, especially this past year and a half, that we were an online business.
Ilana, I have a question related to the commercial kitchen and everything else. Just picturing your story from developing this product that you loved and was good for you, and then taking it to the point where you can mass produce it. We hear from a lot of folks that had the idea of, I have this great recipe, I have this or that. What are some of the lessons learned, some of the tips that you would give people who have maybe a great recipe in their family that they'd like to begin to mass produce? What are some of the tips you would give them?
And I'm glad that you asked me. Actually, one of the things that I do now is I also do consulting work on the side for startup food businesses, because I had to go through this really long process. I've been in this business now for 5.5 years. There are so many steps that I had at the beginning that I wish that I had someone else who had shown me how to easily do some of the things, or what to consider when you're doing a logo, or how to transition to your recipe and scale it up in a commercial kitchen, because it was not easy. I went from making these in batches of 34 in my house, I'm in my small kitchen, to then going to a commercial kitchen, and I now make them in batches of 500, and learning how to use the equipment there and all of that. It was definitely a process. It took me about 18 months. So my advice to anyone is, find someone in your niche. If you're making a pasta sauce, find a consultant or someone else who has already gone through those steps who can help you. I help a lot of bakeries and healthier food businesses, but find someone that you can ask, see if it is something you can make at home, if you can get certified at home. But eventually, when you're scaling up, you're going to need much bigger commercial equipment that your home electric load can't support. So give yourself time. Don't on yourself if you're trying to do that. But if you have something you love that you want to get out to the world, definitely give it a try. So try to see the biggest batches you can make at home first. And then, you have to consider all your different ingredients and how they would perform and work in different machinery and equipment, and how, there's a lot of factors, the different types of ovens and all of those. But it's definitely something, if you're passionate about and you're patient, that you can definitely do. I
love your capacity to diversify your business very quick and be able to be a consultant now, and not only to have your cookie business. But so let's talk about innovation, right? Innovation, you talk a lot about, playing with different ingredients, creating something very unique. So maybe you can mention some of the products that are very unique that you produce.
Yes. So at the time, when I said I was an attorney and I was on maternity leave, I also had been a recipe developer. It was, I felt like I had a blog, a food blog, and I felt like I needed something to be excited and passionate about on the side. So even before I had my kids, I started doing blog, and there I would create different recipes, and I created recipes for Vegetarian Times and other healthy publications. And so, they would give me challenging ingredients. For example, one time I wrote an article for Vegetarian Times called Eat One Food 5 Ways. So I made beet brownies. There were a lot of different recipes that I tested with beets. And, my husband to this day will never eat beets again because he had to eat so many samples of beet recipes. But I love that challenge. It's the same. I have an organic crop share, and I get ingredients all the time. And sometimes I don't know what to do with them, and I have to think of all different ways to use them up in recipes. And I feel the same way about lots of healthy ingredients. So for me, chia seeds were one of the things I really wanted to get into my diet. I'm mostly plant-based, so getting enough protein and omega-3s is important to me. Chia seeds are a really amazing ingredient, but they're very tricky. And so, not tricky, but they're different to work with. So, they're a dry seed, but if you put them in water, I don't know if either of you have ever had chia seeds before. Soak them in water, they turn into a gel. And so some people might have seen chia seeds at the grocery store now. Some other products, some other companies that are quite innovative have made a chia seed pudding, which is a fun thing. But you can also use them as an egg replacer in recipes. So that's essentially what I did in our signature product, our baked oatmeal cups. I bind them together with chia seeds that I make into a gel before I add them. And one of the amazing things is, I was a lawyer, so I like to research everything. I like to know what I'm putting in my body, to know what it does. And so I found out that chia seeds, when you soak them, you can actually absorb the nutrients better. It makes the nutrients more bioavailable. And so that's part of our process in our baking is we don't put them in dry, we pre-soak them for that reason. And so there's a lot of intention in everything we do with our baked goods. And some people don't realize, some people will say to me, oh, chia seeds make me really bloated. And that's because they're just eating them dry. They'll sprinkle them on their yogurt or put them in their toast. And, they absorb water. So if they're dry, when you put them in your stomach, they absorb water in your stomach and can bloat you, but you won't get bloated from ours. And an added benefit, a lot of people say seeds sometimes get stuck in their teeth. Well, we soak them so you don't have that problem.
Thank you, Ilana. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Creativity is one of the characteristics of you and your business, clearly. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
So my plan and my goal is to grow us into a really big subscription-based online company. In about 5 years, I would love to then be able to scale in a different way and have the economies of scale to then make our product even more accessible by making it into a freezer item that would be available in stores nationwide, where you'd find, frozen whole grain waffles right next to those.
Tell us once again. I think you're at the crossroads of a lot of really new trends in business. So, the products that you have, the natural foods, the fulfillment online. How difficult is that? It sounds like, oh my God, I got to put all these things home.
Well, you have to be very organized. We have a production schedule, we have a packaging schedule, and everyone has their own spreadsheet, and everything feeds into each person who's in charge of their, station and area and their aspect of our production. So you do have to be very organized about it. Something for me, I joke that I went to law school, so I didn't have to do math, and now it's a lot of what I do. So I always say to my kids, they're like, when will I ever have to use this? And I'm like, trust me, you're going to have to use it. So there's a lot of things I've had to learn, but I've had some really great mentors also. There are a lot of people out there. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to work with someone, there's a lot of different free programs. Even, the state, the city has a lot of different programs. People give webinars all the time, and there's different things that you can learn about, spreadsheets and production and, managing social media and all the things that you might have to do for your business. I'm someone who's constantly learning. I'm constantly, having a conversation. And if I learn 2 new things, or if I watch a webinar and I learn 1 new thing from it, I'm thrilled, because that's something I can take with me and I can move forward in my business. And I try to give those things to other people as well.
And you mentioned your coworkers. How you ensure that the people who are working with you carry the same core values, the same values that your organization have? What are the keys to create that teamwork in your organization?
So I'd say that is one of my biggest challenges. And as a leader, it's one of the things that I have to pay attention to so much at this point as I'm growing my team, because making sure that I have energy and that everyone is working together in a way that's cohesive and lifts each other up is really important to me. So, there have been people who I have hired who their energy didn't match the energy of my company, unfortunately. But most of the people who I hire, I like to think that, my energy inspires theirs, but also they are, really uplifting people, hard workers, and they're people who really like to work together as a team. I think that especially in a small business, when you have lots of different roles you have to play, sometimes we'll have a use deadline and we have 350 packages that need to go out and we have to wait for all of our baked goods to cool before we can package them. So, our bakers are then going over and helping our packaging people, and everyone sort of pitches in different areas. No one on my team has exclusively one role, and that's me included. I do dishes, I sweep the floor, I do lots of different things also because we're a team and we all do that together.
Because you wear so many hats, you do so many things. Do you have any advice for our audience on maybe some apps or websites or things, some pieces of technology that helped you manage all of these things?
Pieces of technology. I mean, our website is on Shopify. That's a really great one. And I think it's very streamlined. You're looking for a good way to start an email newsletter. MailChimp is very good for that. And it's free up until a certain amount of subscribers that you have. It's a great way. Social media is fantastic, but you don't own your followers on social media. When you have an email list, you own that list. You control that. I mean, they can subscribe and unsubscribe, but there are people who are there regardless of the platform. So that's a really important one, is to find MailChimp or another one. If you're using social media, there's lots of different tools and they're often changing, and I switch up what I use to. Lightroom, I do a lot of my own photos and I edit my own photos. When to Post is another app that you can use that helps you identify when your specific audience on Instagram is engaging and on there, so you can find the best time to post your content so that it gets before the most people. So those are some of the ones that I use.
Giving back to the community, how that plays role in your organization, giving back to the community aspect.
So one of the things, I think it's really important to give back to the community. And one of the things that I do is I like to pick different charities that I contribute for certain products at different times of month. So during Pride Month, we had these beautiful rainbow sprinkle cookies, and we donated a portion of the proceeds to the Trevor Project, which supports LGBTQ plus youth in suicide prevention. And during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we partner with different breast cancer organizations, whether events or giving products or doing promotions for them, or giving a portion of our proceeds to them. And then also volunteering. I've taught kids baking classes for underserved kids. That's been a really great one for me because I think it's really important very early on to get kids interested in healthy foods and get a taste for it, because then when they're older, they're much more likely to have healthier habits and eating habits in particular. So those are different ways. And also, there's my immediate community. Some of my high school friends from Brighton High School are some of my biggest supporters. They've come with me, to San Diego to a TV segment that I've done and helped me set up very first one. It was, my three best friends. So my sister in Rochester, she helps me all the time. Both my sisters do. And I'm really fortunate to have the people in my life and in my, immediate community too.
What's worked? What are some tips as far as marketing? Now that was one. What are some of the things that have helped you create word of mouth and get new customers?
Something I find that really helps is, I have a lot of recipes on my way from when I had been just a food blog and not, I wasn't selling baked goods too, but I give a lot of that free content out because I want people to eat healthier, whether they're buying our product or whether they're making their own. So, I'd say a quarter of our email list is people who are just there for the free recipes and the content. And I'm happy with that because, again, it's my mission of helping people eat healthier. But also giving some of that free content away or educating people is a really great way to get people to sign up for your email list, because they'll want to. They'll know that they're not just there getting your marketing emails of buy this, buy that. I try to give people resources telling them, about ingredients, why we use certain things we do, or how they could incorporate them, or how they should eat them to absorb the most nutrients. I work with functional medicine doctors, health coaches, nutritionists, and sometimes I feature some of their articles and their tips for, say, boosting your immunity. So people know when they sign up for my email list that they're going to be getting additional content like that. So it doesn't have to be specific for me and my ingredients or baked goods. If you're an entrepreneur, there's lots of things, great tips that you could give people. If you're a health coach, you could give lots of different health tips. There's, whatever your industry is. If you make a ginger juice, you could talk about the benefits of ginger, or where it came from, and all the origin and farmers that you work with, and different aspects like that. I think keeping people engaged and interested is really important, because there's a lot of different brands people could go to, and if you're someone who from your heart wants to share information, then people are more likely to want to stay in your community.
What is the contact again for everybody if they want to go right now, where they should contact you?
So they can check us out at stylishspoon.com/order. That's where all of our products are. On our main website, stylishspoon.com, you can get tons of free recipes, mostly very healthy and delicious ones. You can spoon with us on Instagram at stylishspoon, and we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/stylishspoon. And I run all of our social media, so if anyone wants to reach out to me, if you send a DM, you're going to be sending it to me. So I would love to see any of you. If you have any questions or anything that you are inspired by.
Thank you very much. You have inspired today, really, really powerful. And I'm sure that we will have you in the future programs, seeing the growth of your organization. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Coming up next week on Be Inspired, we'll meet Augustine Rodriguez and Corey Wheeler from the Ibero Business Center and hear about new grants for small businesses impacted by COVID and their upcoming entrepreneurship classes.
To watch today's episode and the complete interviews of our guests, go to rochesterfirst.com/beinspired. For more great talk with Rochester's entrepreneurs, listen to Boded 97.1 Saturdays at 9 a.m. For Mauricio Riveros, I'm Julio Saenz. We'll see you next week on Be Inspired.